What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we are heading out to East London to film something very, very special. Stay tuned, keep watching. We're gonna have a short drive into Central and I'll check in with you lot shortly.
Christmas I come and we up earth and drop down flat.
Sick.
Chat them and chat.
Ready for summer.
Empty barrel and make.
We've arrived. And here we are, guys, on site with King Vehicle Damage Repair. If you're new to the channel, I'm Scott, the owner of King Vehicle Damage Repair, and today we have a BMW M5 Competition. This is a 4.4 litre V8 twin turbo, pushing out 616 brake horsepower. Torque, I believe, is around 500, and that 500 newton meters of torque is available at just over 1200 RPM, which is 80% of the rev range. This is an absolute rocket. New, the car was just over £100,000, and this one is fully loaded. Looking at the interior of the BMW M5, they have made massive improvements in comparison to the predecessor. In my opinion, it's not on the same level as the Mercedes E63S, but there is certainly movement in the right direction. When you look at the central driving zone in the BMW M5, you'll find some buttons that control things such as the adaptive suspension, throttle mapping settings, and also the steering wheel sensitivity. So the BMW M5 Competition is a little bit different to the regular BMW M5. It has slightly more power, around 25 bhp more, and it also has a lower suspension, or different suspension. It sits around 10mm lower than the regular BMW M5, and it also has a carbon roof. Okay, so this BMW M5 has some damage to the corner of the driver's side front bumper, and also some damage to the underside. To allow enough access to repair it correctly and also get a nice even amount of paint underneath, we're going to need to lift the vehicle up using this jack. So let's get it lifted and we'll take you through exactly what we need to repair. So as you can see, the offside of the bumper has been scuffed substantially more towards the underside. So we're going to make a nice repair of this, but before we do anything, we just need to remove a clip and a screw from the underside, and then we'll get to work on the repair. So let's go. So upon assessing the damage in a bit more detail, we've found that there's a slight impression on the bumper, and what you can see is I've sanded it, and you'll notice this blue line in the middle is where there's a low spot. So we're just going to use a product that has a self-leveling property that will fill up a very, very small impression, but also help level out the area that is the problem. once we block that down, it'll be nice and smooth. The underside is all sanded back now, feeling good and looking good. So as I say, we'll get the application process of the product to level this impression off. We'll get that to dry and then we'll block it, and we'll be on the right road to repair. Alright, so we've now got the application process complete. Nice, clean skims. That's what it's about. The cleaner you get it in, the smoother it is, the easier it is to rub down. And yeah, let's get some heat lamps on this, infrared heat lamps. We'll get that baked off. Once it's dry, rub down, and it's on to the next process. As a body repair specialist, we often see with our hands. So I'm just seeing if this is smooth and straight. We just need to take a little bit off the bottom here. Repair area is masked out, ready for some primer. So all we need to do now is get the primer applied, which we will do in 3, 2, 1. Prep work is done. We've just now got to go through a bit of a clean-up operation, degrease the panels down, a couple of final bits of masking, and then we'll get the paint in the gun and we'll get this M5 restored to perfection. What we are also going to do, which we haven't shown you in any real detail in any previous videos, is how we do something that is known as a blow-in, which is a typical aspect of smart repair. Rather than painting the complete bumper, we're just going to lose the new paint into the old somewhere around this area here, and again down here. People would argue, well, if it's a smart repair, you know, it's going to show, it's going to appear later on down the line. If it's done right, you don't need to paint the complete bumper. I've proved this many times. I've been back to vehicles after 6 months, a year, and there is no evidence as to where the repair has been lost or where the smart repair or the blend blow-in has taken place. So that's what we're going to do. And as I say, the key point in what I'm trying to get across to you guys is if it's done correctly, you will never be able to see where the transition of the new paint into the old has been. Okay, so the paint is in the gun, fine or clean with a tack rag to remove any surface dust, and we are ready to go. coat has now been applied. That's the colour, which in this case is Marina Bay Blue. We've got the clear coat in the gun. We'll just give the base area a quick clean over, just to remove any overspray from areas that we don't want. We don't want any colour in these blow-in tunnels. If the colour overtakes your clear coat, then the blend will never happen. So it's very important that we keep the tunnels nice and clean, and obviously remove any dust that might have occurred whilst we've been mixing the clear coat. So we're all ready to go, so let's do it. Okay, now we're going to work on the blow-in. We use a speed blender every single time. I swear by this stuff. First thing, and those of you that are in the car game, if you're not using this technique and this product, use it and thank me later. But for now, we'll get some heat into the blow-in area, and then a nice light application followed by some more heat just to help it reflow out. You must keep the heat moving, otherwise you may end up with a run. And I generally go with 2 fairly light coats. As I say, keep the heat moving, and then with the lower blow-in, exactly the same process. And lastly, the one on the underside, same process. And that, my friends, is how we blow in a bumper. Now we start the cooling process. Make sure the panel goes down to temperature. On the subject of blow-ins, one thing, once you've carried out the blow-in process or the blend process, you need to get a lot of heat into the area that you've blown into, and then it's paramount that you then cool that area right down. Otherwise, you can enter into some problems. But I tend just to dry or cool the whole panel, as you can see, using just normal cold water. Leave that for a couple of minutes, then we start the flat and polishing process. So I'm just fitting the last clip. Obviously we took out the clips that was in there and 1 or 2 of the screws, because we're not going to paint over those. And I also noticed that one was missing. So fortunately we carry a couple of spares genuine BMW clips, and we just popped one back in where one was missing. I'm assuming that's probably came out as a result of the impact. And other than just applying a final coat of wax over the repair area, we're pretty much done. It's been a pleasure to work on this beast of an M5 competition. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one. Have a look at the repair anyway, and we'll catch up in a sec. Okay guys, on this one you've seen a bumper repair. Hopefully again that's been informative for you, and you've also had an insight into how we do the blow-ins or the fade-outs with the new paint into the old. And as I said earlier in the video, if you follow the process right every single time, then you'll get the results. You'll never be able to tell, and they'll never come back. And that's how we do it. I've seen a number of questions in the comments, and obviously I can't respond to every single one, but we've just reached 500 subs, heading towards our first 1,000. Once we get to 1,000 subscribers, we'll do a Q&A for you guys and try to cover as much as possible and answer all the questions that you've been asking. So make sure you share the video, try to help us get our subs up. The views have been phenomenal. As I say in every single video, we seem to be gaining great traction, and I'm really enjoying making this content for you guys. So that's it from us for today and for now. This is the BMW M5 competition, and I'll see you on the next one.